Happy Families podcast. It's the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now.
But I also am so grateful for the face-to-face time that I have with those same people, because it helps me to see the whole picture and recognise that they're just like me. Sometimes they get it right and sometimes they completely screw up, and that's okay.
And now here's the stars of our show, my mum and dad.
Woohoo!
You excited? It's Friday.
No, I was anticipating your excitement.
I was almost going to do
Clearly, something's happening this weekend that you must be that excited about to see the week gone.
I just really enjoy things slowing down as we get to the weekend and spending time with our family. My name's Justin. I'm here with Kylie. We're a husband and wife podcast partnership. And we've got 6 kids between us. Well, 6 kids together. What do I mean? We have 6 daughters. All ours.
All ours.
From the very beginning. And no, for those of you who are wondering, we weren't trying for a boy.
Really?
Well, I wasn't. Were you?
No.
Okay. We run a website called happyfamilies.com.au, and I've got 6 books that I've written about raising happy families. Every Friday, we talk about how we can do better tomorrow. The idea that parenting should be something that's intentional, and as we become better people, we raise better kids. And even if we don't, we still become better people in the process of raising the challenging kids that we've got. Before we talk about our I'll Do Better Tomorrow stories for this week, though, I just want to do a shout out to Hamish Blake. I mean, he doesn't know that I exist. One of the most popular humans in the country. But Hamish, a couple of weeks ago, did his latest birthday cake extravaganza. Have you seen what he does? So did I actually show it to you on Instagram?
You did not.
So Hamish Blake made a commitment to his little kids, and they are very young.
Oh, I know the commitment he's made, but I haven't seen his latest creation.
Right. So for those of you who are not familiar, he's made a commitment to his kids that he's going to make them whatever birthday cake they want for their birthday. So the night before their birthday, he stays up until whatever time it takes to get the cake made.
He must be a closet baker. I mean, let's face it, no dad is ever going to agree to this if they don't have some kind of interest or skill factor. I mean, this is serious.
Yeah,
the cakes he's making are intense.
He's got mechanisms going on, sort of thing. I mean, he actually, for the latest one, he bought the inside of the cake and he just did all the outside stuff. But we're talking about, it was supposed to be a unicorn, and it turned into what he called a unidonkey. Anyway, we've got some audio from what he was doing, because he drinks a bit of whiskey while he's making these cakes, and the last one finished at about 3 a.m. Here's what happened.
I had a bit of a nap putting the kids to bed, and I've accidentally had a martini before doing this. We're going to get it done.
Guys, when you're making a unicorn cake, like a lot of the baking is about trade-offs. Like, is the head going to be too big? What's the horn like? Do I have a delicious Tasmanian whiskey? Do I have George Clooney's tequila? Okay, in all seriousness, I burnt myself on marshmallow. I've got yellow hands. I really got to get down to it. I've probably been mucking around a little bit. That's all right. We're having fun. It's me again and uni. Hey, if you need to have an early night, this is not going to be an early one. I'm not panicking, but I'm realising that now. It's 3 o'clock. I got to just get the wings on with the unidonkey. We're doing a unidonkey. And the unidonkey takes flight.
The grace, the beauty, the majesty.
So anyway, I was thinking about this great story about how he does this for his kids, stays up late, gets himself far too drunk and makes these incredible creations. And what a great tradition it is, and how fantastic the stories are, and just the whole narrative around it. The kids are kind of too little to appreciate it now, but I think as they get older, this is going to become a really special thing that the whole family can enjoy. And I was thinking for just a moment as I was watching the footage, gee, I'm a bad dad. Like there's that whole parent shaming, parent comparison thing that happens. And then I gave myself a quick uppercut and I was like, really? Are you going to...
You're going to base your life on somebody else's showreel, honey.
Yeah, kind of. But this is what happens all the time on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and whatever else people are using. And it was just a reminder that we can all fall prey to it. And instead of using it as a source of comparison, we need to stop valuing ourselves in comparison to others and just use it for inspiration. Like, I'm not going to start cooking a cake for our 6 daughters or for you until all hours of the night. That's not my thing. But we've all got something that we do with our kids. We've got something that
But you did. You only did it once, but you did cut 100 hearts out for me one day.
That's right.
out of paper.
Yeah, and wrote 100 things that I loved about you.
Well, it wasn't 100. You cut 100 out
that was
because
a
you
50.
overlaid them.
That's right.
But you wrote 50 things about me, it's still my favourite gift.
Do you know how long it took to cut out 100
I know how long it took.
Wow.
It probably took you twice as long as it would have taken me. But I know how long it would take me, and it's a long labour of love.
Anyway, shout out to Hamish Blake, not for the comparison and feelings of not being enough that I experienced for 30 seconds, but for the inspiration to be a better dad. Just brilliant. And I think we should see more dads and mums on social media shouting out, hey, here's the cool stuff I'm doing for my kids. Not so that people can feel like they're not enough or feel shamed, but so that we can be inspired to be better.
What I love about social media is it allows me to see bits and pieces of people's lives that I wouldn't normally see. But I also am so grateful for the face-to-face time that I have with those same people, because it helps me to see the whole picture and recognise that they're just like me. Sometimes they get it right and sometimes they completely screw up, and that's okay.
Well, speaking of screwing up or getting it wrong, I'm going to share my I'll do better tomorrow.
Oh, you're looking at me like I screwed up.
No, I saved you from... I saved you.
You saved me from screwing up because I was so close.
Yes, you were. So my I'll do better tomorrow. For those of you who are new to I'll do better tomorrow.
I thought the point was that you share stories about your life, not mine.
No, I am. It's about me because I came to the rescue. I was the saviour of the day.
Oh, you were the hero of the day.
That's exactly right.
All right. Well, I'll let you glory. Come on.
Okay. Actually, just before I do, movie night last Friday night. Just a quick aside. I said to Emily, our 7-year-old, "Hey kiddo, what are we gonna watch for video night tonight?" And she looked at me straight faced and said, "What's a video night?" No idea what a video night is.
I can't believe you called it that.
I don't know where it came from.
When was the last time we watched a video?
I don't know. She's actually lived in a world where there are no videos, but I called it video night. Anyway, so...
what happened to family movie night?
I'll do better tomorrow. A few nights ago, Emily was starting to absolutely lose it, and I could hear her big emotions cascading. I'll
just make a point here. You say that you heard it. She had been screaming for a very long time before you came to the rescue.
Well, I had just left the office, walked into the house and heard this screaming. I'm like, oh, this sounds terrible. And initially I was like, I've got to get up there and fix it. And then I remembered all the stuff that I teach people. And sometimes I have to actually remember the stuff that I teach people because in the moment, the big emotions can still take over. And when I heard that and I felt that, I remember this feeling that came over my entire body. It started at my face and I softened my eyes and my face and I just had this compassion for a little 7-year-old that was struggling and my heart started to completely melt and I ran up the stairs just in time to see you with your arm around her, shepherding her into her bedroom where you were going to leave her to kind of get over herself and you looked like you'd kind of had enough. And I just ran past you and I said, I'll look after her. I've got this. And you kind of looked at me like,
whatever,
because you were kind of,
I'm done.
And she laid on the bed and she just screamed, and I just had this whole, oh my precious girl, you're so upset, like that was what I was feeling, and I somehow managed to communicate that to her, and she screamed for about 30 seconds, and I said, I just want to hug you, but if you don't want me to be near you, I'll leave, and you can come and get a hug when you're ready. And I just gently said, would you like me to hug you? And she looked at me and said, yes. And then she just started crying and she snuggled into me and we had this great big hug and 2 minutes later the tantrum was completely over and
she bounced out. She literally skipped out into the kitchen, came and gave me a big hug and said, Mummy, I just love you so much. That was the end of it.
I was like, yes. So I want to share that as a reminder for me and for you, but for every parent who's listening, that if we can get our heart right and if we can get our face right as well, and then if we can just gently say those things like, you're really upset and I'm here, do you want a hug? Or would you like to have some time alone and I'll come back and hug you when you're ready? It softens them. They know that they're safe. They know that they're not in trouble. And then we can work the other stuff out later. And I just went, boom. Awesome.
That was a really big win. But there was actually a follow-on win from that.
What, that I don't know about?
That you don't know about.
Okay, fill me in.
That's right. So the next morning, Emily came in for her morning huggies. You'd already gotten up, so it was just me in bed, and she snuggled in, and we had a little cuddle. And I said, Emily, the last few days we've been dealing with some really big emotions. I said, we're having them in the morning before you go to school, and it's been really hard to get you ready for school. And I said, and then last night we had another really big meltdown. And I said, and Mummy's really struggling with it right now. And she said, I know. I need to get my emotions under check. That's exactly what she said. I need to get my emotions under check. And I said, what are we going to do about it? And she said, well, I need to take some deep breaths. When I take deep breaths, it helps me. And I said, yeah. And she said, and I also need to have happy thoughts. When I think happy thoughts, I don't get angry. And I went, wow, that's awesome. I said, how do you think we're going to go today? And she said, we're going to have a much better day today. So she got up and she just got ready and got everything done with ample time. And it was the first time for the whole week that we actually made it to school on time. Her teacher even messaged me to say, I don't know what happened, but Emily showed up today early with a big smile on her face and was ready for the day. It's just amazing how our simple efforts as parents to get our hearts in the right place actually has such huge impact in our children's lives as they try to navigate their own emotions.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the power of connection as well. I say it all the time, just like dollars are the currency of our economy, connection is the currency of our relationships. Hey, in just a sec, we're going to find out about your I'll Do Better Tomorrow. And based on what I know about it, my guess is that we might get some hate mail over this one.
Don't say that.
Coming up next.
It's the Happy Families Podcast.
For a happier family, try a Happy Families membership, because a happy family doesn't just happen. Details at happyfamilies.com.au.
It's the Happy Families Podcast, the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now. And I'm not sure if I'm going to share my experience after that intro.
So here's the deal. I'll Do Better Tomorrow. We want to find out what we've done well or what we haven't done well so that we can be better moving forward. And you've told me what you're going to share with this one. And I just want to preface it. How are you going to respond if anyone tells you that you've done the wrong thing, if we get any feedback from people on social media or via email?
I'm done.
Right.
I'm done. I'm not going to come back.
You can't quit. Okay, so no hate mail allowed. We'll have to put that out there as a caveat straight away. No hate mail allowed, and we can't tell these stories. All right, what did you do?
Oh, I'm being brave in sharing this because I recognise that, number one, I don't condone the action.
You did the wrong thing is what you're saying.
I didn't necessarily do the wrong thing, but it could be taken in that light, depending on the age of the child.
Okay, all right. So knock us out. What did you do?
Well, one of our children, we've been struggling with her a little bit lately. She's just been really, really prickly. That's the best way to describe it. It's really hard to get close to her, and at times it takes a lot of effort to remind ourselves that she is an absolutely beautiful child underneath all of that crazy, difficult behaviour.
Yeah, for a couple of years now, I've been saying she's a good kid. She's a good kid. Yep. She's such a good kid. But my goodness, sometimes she's challenging, but she's a good kid anyway.
And we butt heads a lot. And the other day I had asked her to put away her books that were sitting on the couch before she went off to school. Well, she didn't do it. She left them. And when I finally got to the lounge room to do the tidying up for the morning, I realised it was actually her journal. And I was a little bit curious because she's cranky at me a lot. And I wondered whether or not I might get some insights into what she was actually feeling if I just read a few pages.
All right, so we're going to put a Facebook post up and we're going to ask the question, is it ever okay?
No.
Is it ever okay to read your kid's journal? Because obviously that's what you've done.
I did read her journal.
And no one's going to say anything about whether or not you should have done it or not. They're just going to say whether or not it's okay. All right. This is not about Kylie, everyone. This is just about asking the question. In fairness, I know you want to finish the story, but in fairness, if I was packing away books and I found somebody's open journal, I'd probably have a quick skim, depending on who it was and how old they were and how much I really wanted to know. But with an 11-year-old, yeah, I probably would.
So our eldest is 22.
Yeah, I wouldn't read hers.
I have only read our children's journals probably 3 times, and each time it has been a similar situation. The book's been lying out. I haven't gone looking for it.
Sure.
And there has been some struggle. And so whether it has been I've just been really concerned about them as a parent, or whether or not we in our relationship, personal relationship, has been struggling and been wondering whether or not it would give me some insight. So I opened the book and I did read. Mm-hmm. And can I tell you how much my heart melted when I read just her beautiful insights. This is actually her gratitude journal, so it's not her day-to-day journal. But the very first thing that I read was an experience that I had shared at the dinner table one night when we were sharing our grateful things. And she shared that experience in her own words and then just talked about what a beautiful experience it was and what it taught her about life in general and what it taught her about me. And I was just blown away that in spite of all of the angst that goes on back and forth, from day to day in our lives and from time to time, even me forgetting who she really is deep down, that she could share such beautiful things. And that got me wanting to read more because I loved what I read. And so I did. I read 3 or 4 of her entries and every single one of them was just filled with absolute beauty and gratitude for the wonderful life that she lives and for the family that she has. And I was blown away because it gave me an insight into her heart that I haven't actually as a parent seen. Not so much seen, but she has never articulated it in such clarity.
Sometimes it can be hard to see the beauty in our kids because they're just so challenging. And it sounds like in this case, this has been a really meaningful and important way for you to be able to reframe how you see a kid who can really drive us up the wall sometimes.
Yeah, it literally has changed how I view her.
Well, the take-home message, hug your kids, read their journals. and do better tomorrow.
I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. Definitely not saying it's the right thing to do.
We hope you have a wonderful weekend, that you get to spend some high quality time with your kids and that it's intentional and that the things that we've shared with you today will help you to do better tomorrow with your kids. The Happy Families podcast is produced by Justin Rulon from Bridge Media with Craig Bruce as our executive producer. If you would like more information about how to make your family happier, if you'd like more information about how you can get access to our world-class, world-leading Happy Families memberships, find all the info you need at happyfamilies.com.au.